Hey, what's up? It's Nick Poliokini, and I am still hanging out in one of my favorite spaces here on the Queen Mary in downtown Long Beach. It's the Observation Bar. This incredible Art Deco space has so many things going on. In fact, if you've been following me on Nick Poliokini or This Weekend with Nick on Instagram, you saw me here not too long ago with the Queens on the Queen experience, which had Jules Long Beach and Dolly Levi, and from RuPaul's Drag Race, it had also Mayhem Miller. So much going on, but that's just one of the teeny tiny little events that happens here. Now, granted, a huge amount of fun, but just one of the events that happens here on board the Queen Mary. If you didn't catch part one, I highly recommend you pop back over so you can get to meet Steve and Dylan, or Leonard and Dillywhack. And if you know, you know. But with that being said, I want to jump back into it because there is so much happening on deck here at the Queen Mary. So let's talk about what happened. So actually, let me talk about one of my experiences I've had. I have been here with the Queen Mary which is one of your immersive experiences. So you're not just a hotel, you are so much more than that. You're an experience, you have a museum on board, and you have a resident paranormal investigator, Rebecca Knight, who is a good friend of mine now because we've hung out on several investigations. And I just saw her recently and have been to the Churchill Suite and been through the bowels of the ship and really covered a lot of ground here. So talk to me about either that or any of the other experiences that are, in case you are watching us on YouTube, the mic just got passed. It wasn't a mic drop, it was a mic pass. Yeah. But to remind you-
I was just stretching.
No, and I think, but the funnier part is the two gentlemen to my left, this is the captain and that's the first mate. So Steve would be the GM of the hotel property, the managing director, correct? And then Dylan is the head of immersive experiences, or director of immersive experiences here. So Dylan obviously knows all the ins and outs and probably knows Rebecca as well as I do. But talk to me about some of the really impressive things. You've got 57 ghosts. You've got so many special things that are happening here. On top of daily tours.
Yeah, so like you said, we have daily tours that go out from literally 9 a.m. all the way to 8 p.m. After 8 p.m., we do paranormal investigations here. We do paranormal ship walks. We have the 57 Ghosts, as you alluded to, is a theatrical seance show. So those are things that are happening on the daily basis here. And then on top of that, we obviously layer in all of our special events, and then tons of community events as well, and city events. Tonight we have the Rotary here. So you name it, we probably have done it or have it in the cooker for the future.
That's great though. So talk to me about you coming on board as the director of immersive experience, or just experience in general. What is that kind of role? What do you look at when you are starting to develop either just the daily tour or working with the teams on that? What exactly does that look like? And then how does planning come into it?
So we have so many passionate people about around the ship, whether it's people that care about the rich history of it, whether it's people that are really into the haunted side, whether it's our crew members. And so really, we always say a good idea is a good idea no matter where it comes from. And so really a huge portion of our job is, to be honest, sifting through all of these ideas and doing. And so, I came here and there's so much opportunity, and it's all about crossing things off the list in terms of creating more experience. When I say crossing something off, that means, hey, we've activated an experience for the guests. And a lot of the things that we've done recently, we're really excited about because there is a historical element to it. Like, we don't just add a candy store for the sake of adding a candy store. We look into the history of it. Our historic team knows that, will recommend to us, hey, that actually used to be a cigar shop and a candy shop. Like, what if we reactivated that? And now we have Piccadilly Delights, which is a vintage candy store in the main hall. So that's just a small example of, like, anytime that we can, one, create something that we're proud of and we know people will create memories there, but it also has that history interlaced with it. That's what we're all about.
And I think that really means, at least for me, and coming from someone that regularly goes to Disneyland or Knott's Berry Farm, which have their own immersive experiences. The Queen in and of herself is that, and be it either as stunning as she is in her Art Deco-ness, or having been the Grey Ghost when she was taking soldiers across the Atlantic and when we were in war times, and it had a different story altogether. It really speaks to being a unique space, and I'll take it back to you, Steve, with the more hotel and guest experience side of things. Talk to me about some of the things since coming on board and taking your role. What has it been like? Share some anecdotal experiences that you've had. You talked about in part one how you really enjoy the interaction on deck with the different guests, but talk to me about what the day-to-day operation is like for you, and also kind of hit on what you've already talked about, the internal guest experience.
Well, I think, it's fun every day. I think my job is to talk with everyone and get the pulse of the ship, if you will, and also communicate a message. Our message is very clear. We're here to create experiences, and creating experiences is what we do. So I think my day-to-day, the fun stuff is like, what are the ideas we're going to come up with? What can we do? Essentially, I think we kind of always put ourselves in a position, if we were standing in the main hall and we were just, right there in the main hall outside of Piccadilly Delights, and you were a guest and you looked around and asked yourself, what is there for me to do? What's there to do? And that's our job. And so we, with the team, with our terrific team, we try to create that on a regular basis. Like, okay, the fishbowl in the middle used to be a clothing store on the ship years ago. Can we do something else with it? We turn that into the Commodore's office. So now the Commodore and the captain, they're in there. Doors are open. It's free. Our guests can go in there and talk with the Commodore about anything about the ship, So it's really just like coming up with ideas, looking outside. Dylan and I were always looking at each other going, okay, I got a crazy idea. Always starts with a crazy idea. And out of those crazy ideas, maybe 10% land.
Wait, less.
Yeah, or maybe less. Seriously, But we know it.
But I think you're still giving it air. You're still bringing it to the surface.
And there's times where I'll say I got this crazy idea, and he's like, "Oh, okay," and then the next day, he's like, well, I don't think that was a good idea," and then I'll say, "Yeah, you're right. I don't think that was a good idea." But the cool thing is that our team, they have these great ideas too. And it doesn't matter what position you are. It could be anybody that, from our staff that just says, "Hey, can I talk to you?" And you're like, "Oh, yeah." And they'll be like, "Hey, have we ever thought about, doing this at the front of the ship?" So I think that's, and then again, we put our guest hat on and say, okay, if I was a guest, would I like this, or would this create this great experience for my family? And I think that's the day to day. And if I had to sum it up on some of the things we're doing in here, because it is the day to day, like, we had this goal a while ago, like we want something to be going on the Queen every single day. So starting with, is it okay to talk about?
Oh my gosh, please. Okay. No, by all means.
So like on Tuesdays, we have meet me at the Mary.
Okay. And what's involved with that?
And that started off, actually I was in San Francisco at the, St. Francis Hotel.
St. Francis Hotel, okay.
And then they had something, and back in I think it was 1920s or 30s, it said, "Meet me at the St. Francis." Mm-hmm. So it was like, okay, so I kind of copied that, right?
No. You reinvented it.
Yeah, reinvented it,
You
right?
brought it down.
It's such a wonderful hotel over there. And so we have something on Tuesdays called Meet Me at the Mary. And the Meet Me at the Mary is one of my favorite nights on every Tuesday night, because it's period true. The band, it's always live music, and the band always plays the Frank Sinatra, the different music to that period in the air, and people come in, they dance, the bar is packed. One of my favorite parts of that evening is people dress the part, and it's unsolicited, it's all volunteer, but they come in and they're dressed up in their beautiful dresses, and the gentlemen have their nice suits on and their hats, and so that's one of my favorite nights. That's on Tuesday, and it's pretty packed. Wednesday, karaoke night. People come in, they have a great time. I was talking to somebody earlier. We were talking about our karaoke experience, on how when we get up to sing, how we kind of think we're good, but we're
it's not, okay though.
We're not that good, So and then on Thursday we have our jazz and blues night, or K-Jazz night. So that's on Thursday nights, and then Fridays we have something called Meet Me or Margaritas on the Mary. And that's on our starboard side. So if you came between 1 and 4, we have a steel drum band out there. We have tacos out there. We have margaritas out there. And you got the best view of our beautiful city of Long Beach. And then Saturdays, once a month, we do disco night. on the first Saturday of the month. And then Sunday we have our brunch, which we have live music at the brunch. And then every Monday we just kind of do something off the wall, kind of like really, really cool. Like we had the most awesome event Monday with Queens on the Queen. And that was one of our favorite events. We had such a good time. So there's always something going on the Queen. And that's what we get excited about, not because we look at it and say, oh, look what we did, because certainly we didn't do it all and we have a good team to do everything. Sure. But the cool thing is when people come onto the ship and they're just looking around and they have things to do. Right. You know, it's not like coming to the Queen and saying, oh, is this the old Queen? No, it's like, oh my gosh, look at, we can dance.
Yeah, it's vibrant.
It's vibrant. There's things going on. Let's go to the store. Let's go look at the view. Let's go check out the front desk with a beautiful purser's office that was originally in 1936 up above the front desk. It's still, we just put it back up there. So I think that's the fun part, that, every day, what can we do to create the experience, but really to bring it back in time so people can look at the ship and kind of appreciate it for what it was. Not, coming into, like, one of the first things we did here in the observation bar is we took the TVs down. It just didn't.
I noticed.
It just didn't have that look.
Because and we've talked about in part one, we're very big sports fans.
Yes.
But that's it.
Yeah.
This isn't the place for that.
It's not the place for that.
It's not. This is where you come and you enjoy everything you've described.
Exactly. So then we had an old storeroom back there, and we turned that into what we call the game room. So we have games in there, and then we put TVs back there. So if you want to watch, a game over there. So anyways, it's just fun. Coming up with things, and it's fun with a great team that has all these ideas. And again, it's really guest focused, so we're having a good time.
I think it's amazing. And before I pass the mic back over to Dylan, what's your go-to karaoke song?
Go-to karaoke, I would probably say Hotel California, but
from the Eagles? Okay.
Yeah, but I think we call it Hotel Queen Mary when we're singing.
I love it. Okay, so if you're ever here on a Wednesday for karaoke.
Me and my friend, the GM over at the convention center at Long Beach.
Oh, that's even more fun.
Him and I up there were unstoppable. Yeah.
I love that. That's fantastic. All right, so Wednesday, karaoke. Come see Steve. Dylan, talk to me about what's to come. We've got many, many events that are coming up. The summer season has some movie nights that are happening. You've got a couple of other things. Yeah. And then the thing that I've been teasing since part one that I'm very excited to talk about, something that is returning to the Mary after a hiatus for a good number of years. So take it away.
Honestly, the exciting part right now is like the list is long and it's getting longer. And so that's what it's like. It's really fun and great energy around the ship right now with just all these things that we're trying to get going for our community. So as you alluded to, we have our movie nights that happen once a month through September. And then we have our night markets, which we have 2 more of those to come, which is bringing local vendors in, awesome live band, a beer garden. It's been such a blast. And you also get free admission to the ship on those. We obviously have our huge 4th of July celebration with fireworks right over the back of the ship, which we're very, very excited about that. And so we'll host at least a few thousand people on the ship for that, and they get to see all of our salons, and all of them are activated with different entertainment, and obviously the big fireworks show and flyovers from vintage planes and everything like that. So excited for that, and then we're bringing quarterly Art Deco nights back to the ship.
Oh, okay.
So that's something new that we really haven't even gotten to announce yet. But Alex Menham and his 12-piece orchestra, he's going to come back, and we're going to do these quarterly events with him in the Queen's Salon here. So very excited for that. We've been talking about bringing candlelight concerts here and all of that. But then leading into fall, we obviously just announced a partnership with 13th Floor Entertainment with bringing back Dark Harbor. So very, very, very excited about that. And I know we talk about buzz. That's the most buzz that we've had.
So that, I would say, there's so many things, including today, Barbie is going to be screened for right now when we're filming. So, but Dark Harbor. So with those people, if you know, you know, and if you followed me over the last 17 years with iHeartRadio, you're very well aware that I was a scare actor with both Shipwrecked, the original iteration, and then Dark Harbor. So to have that coming back, and that is such an anchoring event, because I think the thing that is unique and special about it's anchored in the lore of the Queen. And I think the characters, hopefully, that will all be returning. I mean, many of them have been on the other side for far too long now and may not be able to come back across the breach. But of those that are there, that are able to return, there have been some incredibly memorable characters. The captain, the ringmaster, the chef. There's so many different people spirits that will be able to hopefully be returning. We'll see who all comes back with this new iteration of Dark Harbor, but I think that's it, because it really, while there are many things that happen year round with you, it put the Queen on the map in a very different way. And it's because while other entertainment venues around Southern California have absolutely incredible offerings, this immersive experience is so unique and special because the story and the characters have been built out to really honor the ship and the village and everything around it. So that is something that's coming up. Are you guys, I don't know, I didn't ask this ahead of time. Are you going to do anything with Midsummer? Are you going to make any announcements there?
There will be a Dark Harbor panel on Saturday of Midsummer Scream, and then we also have a Queen Mary panel on the Sunday as well. So you'll get your fill of all of our activities there. And obviously we are doing a lot of announcements about what you can expect, both character-wise, maze-wise, entertainment-wise for Dark Harbor during that.
And that is probably one of the most exciting things. If you're unfamiliar with Midsummer, you have been living under a rock, but you know that you'll be seeing me there Friday, Saturday, and Sunday coming up in July when we have Midsummer. And so it'll be incredible to have Dark Harbor and the Queen Mary represented there as well. So as we're going into, and I want to talk to you both a little bit more and kind of lean back into the beginning. What was it like for you here as things have progressed? Because we did have a closure for, and I don't want to, lean into it too far, but we did have COVID and we did have a closure for the ship, and it was closed for a good period of time, and it has reopened, and everything is fantastic and been brought up in a fresh coat of paint, and all the facilities have really been brought up. But what is it like bringing that diamond back from a time period that was, a little challenging for everybody?
Well, it is an exciting time. I mean, the ship went through a lot things that we just, it was sad the condition that it was in. Thanks to the support of the city of Long Beach, who are just incredible. They're the ones that own the ship. Sure. And they're the ones that just supported our efforts. And we worked as a team. And what it was really like was just first and foremost, we charged ahead with safety first. The hot water, the lights, making sure that safety is number one. To this day, still safety is number one, and then making it look good. Right. And this is before anybody came aboard. Trying to starting from the outside with the paint, as you said, putting the coats of paint on, looking at the carpet, taking care of the woodwork, trying to keep it as period true as possible. It was the team did a great job, and we had to kind of like bring our people in by tiers. Sure, of course. To get the work done. Opening the observation bar, I'll never forget the first night we opened the observation bar. Is we didn't have our liquor license. We were supposed to have our liquor license on a day, and we were all like, we had all the liquor out. We were all ready to welcome our guests, and then we hit a snag, and then we didn't have our liquor license, so we didn't open up the bar. And those are things that we didn't anticipate. But it still makes it memorable because you think about all the tough times, and it really, it's a good thing because it makes us just like, really, there's nothing that surprises us anymore on the ship. So I think with the help and the support of the city, with all of our team, Evolution Hospitality, it's been fun because we can actually look back now. We can look back, starting when I came onto the ship, everyone had to use radios because there was no cell service, and nobody would get in the elevator by themselves.
I get it. What was going to 100%. Nope.
Happen?
Totally get it.
And it wasn't until like the first week everybody was talking to me about Ghost. I'm like, what are you talking about, Ghost? And, and then I remember one time our director of sales, he's like, I thought I heard a voice, and I was like, don't believe in that stuff. You don't, it's not real. He's like, okay. He goes, by the way, Steve, I just want to let you know, I'm leaving to go home right now, and you're the last one on the ship. And I'm like, well, I don't believe it, but I'll go with you. But I'll just go with you. So I packed up my bag, and I'm like, let's go. So I love it. It's a remarkable story of the resilience of, and the, of the people of Long Beach, really just dedicated to the ship to do good things. And we're very happy in the place we're at. And there's so much more to do, right? Every day, it's funny. I think Dylan feels the same way. We're so humbled when people come by and they said, hey, Steve, hey, Dylan, the ship looks great. We're always looking at like, okay, but don't look there,
I get get it.
or don't look there, because we just constantly wanted to, and this is not just us, it's our whole team. We just constantly want, we want it to look, better than good.
Right.
The high standards of the city of Long Beach, we want portrayed onto the ship. So anyways, we're having fun, and it's ongoing. It's not going to end. We're constantly going to try to keep on making it not just look better, but, provide the type of service that, the people of Long Beach and the people that are visiting the ship deserve, which is the best, the very, very best of what they deserve. So we're having fun.
And I can't think of a better way to wrap things up, because I think speaking with both of you today really has instilled the fact of the love and the care and the passion and the drive behind the team that is here at the Queen Mary. It's not just a place. It's not just a thing. It has a heart. It breathes. And it really is such a special experience for those who are returning after the closure, or having not been here. It doesn't even matter with the closure, just haven't been here in years, and being able to come through and see things that they never discovered before, because you've taken such care and such focus on bringing things to the forefront and really pouring yourselves into how can we put the best foot forward for this incredible ship and for the city that she lives in.
Absolutely, and I would be amiss if I didn't mention Commodore Everett. Commodore Everett has been here for 43 years. We all love him to death, but he really motivates. So I know he motivates me. I think he motivates so many of us, because he wants the ship to, he wants the ship to look like it was when it sailed out in 1936, and he really motivates it. And I always tell people, if you talk to Commodore, half of the discussion with him is the knowledge you gain about the ship, and then the other half is just looking into his eyes and seeing the passion that he has for the ship. And I think that motivates me. I think it motivates so many people here, and we're fortunate to have him here on the ship too as well.
And I think that means there's an in conversation with the Commodore coming up here somewhere in the near future.
He's fantastic. Yeah.
Dylan, wrap us up with all the details of how we can book a night on the ship, how we can look into some of those incredible experiences, all the details, including social media.
Sure. Yeah. So definitely follow the Dark Harbor handles. If you're interested in Dark Harbor, there's Dark Harbor Halloween, and that's where tickets are going to go on sale as well. That's where they're releasing all the awesome trailers and everything with that. And the team's been doing amazing on that. And then for us here to join us for tours, for booking a night, for booking Sunday brunch, for coming to one of our restaurants, really any of the things we've talked about today, you can go to queenmary.com, like we said. And then the What's on Deck calendar, what we call, is queenmary.com/what's on deck. Again, telling you what's on deck, what's going on board any day of the week.
See, there's just, and I think that's it. You really have no excuse not to come in here and enjoy the heck out of the ship and enjoy the heck out of downtown Long Beach. Gentlemen, this has been a true pleasure. I thank you very much. If you need any more details on top of everything that Dylan shared, you can always check out the show notes at thisweekendwithnick.com or the link in bio at Nick Poliokini or This Weekend with Nick on Instagram. Gentlemen, a true pleasure, and on behalf of the ship, I guess you could say, we all look forward to seeing you out and about this weekend.